Well, an Instagram star found dead in Texas. Police say her body was found naked but with no signs of injuries. Now, Alexis Sharkey's mother is speaking out.
Hi. So, like a week ago, Princess Polly reached out to me and they asked if I had ever tried their brand before. I haven't. They said, do you want to? I said, yes. I'm excited. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.
Jealousy is such a strange enemy. I know it's all in my head, but I can see it's standing in doorways down the street alone. Well, I've been so intoxicated by your lies, infatuated now. I can't leave.
So a big question right now. Did Sharkey's job as a social media influencer play a role in her death?
Just a quick warning. This video will contain explicit content. The video will tell some gruesome details about murder victims and crimes committed by a very disturbed individual. This is not a topic that can be treated lightly, and as such, viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, lovelies. It's Lady Curious with another true crime. I hope everyone has been doing good. I'm going to try my best to start posting 2 videos a month. Remember, this video is for educational and documentary purposes only. I tried my best to get all the information I could. If I left out anything, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any type of other suggestions of another case I should do, please leave it down in the comments. This case today is a big case. A lot of true crime YouTubers have done this case. And this case is about Alexis Leah Sharkey. She was born Robinot. I'm going to tell you some background of Alexis. You know, I went through a lot of pictures of hers and just things that I observed, things that she seemed to love and that she used to do with her friends. And I just want to tell you about her. Her name was Alexis Sharkey. She was born Alexis Leah Robinot in Warren, Pennsylvania. She grew up in Youngsville, Pennsylvania, and graduated from Youngsville High School in 2012. She was a cheerleader and seemed to be involved in a lot of school activities. She was a popular girl and had a lot of friends. In 2016, she graduated from the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford with a major in biology and minors in nutrition and psychology. She even completed an undergrad program to get her practitioner assistant's certificate. Alexis was super smart, y'all. She wanted to be the best that she could. Just a person that really went for the stars, and she wanted to make something of herself. When she got older, she loved the beach, outdoors, and animals. She was a huge animal lover. You'll see from the pictures that she has so many pictures of her and different types of animals. She loved to travel and see the world. She had 2 younger sisters that she loved so much. You could tell she had a special sisterly bond with both of them. Alexis's favorite holiday was Thanksgiving, but she loved any holiday. Now, Alexis worked for a multi-level marketing company, Monat, which sells hair care, skincare, and wellness products. So it was an MLM, and we know that not everyone makes it in an MLM. To me, my thoughts is that it's a huge scam. She made regular posts to her Instagram and TikTok's accounts, so she had a huge following. She was a girl boss. It was said Alexis did not consider herself as an influencer, but a businesswoman. Her mother described her as health conscious and saying her daughter loved selling organic healthcare products. She was really high up in the company when she passed away. She met her husband Tom in 2018, Twin Peaks restaurant. after she just broke up with her ex-fiance in a previous relationship. She worked at Twin Peaks restaurant for a couple of years. It's like a Hooters restaurant. You know, they sell wings and kind of like a sports bar kind of thing. Tom was a regular. When another server set her and Tom up, it seemed like they would hit it off really well. He was 23 years her senior. But when she passed away, she was 26 and he was 49. So you kind of can tell the age difference. She did get married to Tom in 2019. They moved from Pennsylvania to Texas in January of 2020. Tom was supposedly worked in a construction and his company had him travel all over the world. For a while, they didn't even have a home. They lived on the road in hotel rooms. In February 2020, this was when she met her 6 friends by a finding friendship app like Bumble. It was also noticeable that Alexis drank a lot. She even said it herself that it was getting out of control, that she doesn't need an alcoholic drink with every meal. She was aware of the problem, but I don't think she ever changed that before she passed away. So they lived in Pennsylvania, they got married, and then they moved to Texas in February 2020. And she met 6 new besties on Bumble, kind of like finding friendship. I don't know what the app is called. Saw a post that she did where she was talking about she noticed that every post she made on Instagram with food or something, there was always the alcoholic drink in the picture with her. And she said even at 11 a.m. And she said that's an issue. And she said it was something she needed to work on, but she never got to because she passed away. The friends that she met, the close ones, were Tanya, Kendra, Desiree, and Cassie. Tom alluded that since Alexa met these new friends, that she started having problems that she didn't have before. These problems were never talked about or uncovered. There was a suspicion that the friends had something to do with her disappearance. Now, she had like 3 or 4, old friends from Monate. They were Allie, Devin, and Lauren, and they known each other all since like 2018. Now, the timeline of what happened, I want to put a bunch of pictures on here so you kind of see how lively she was. And her smile was just infectious, like she was the type of girl walk into a room and she would light the room up. She had a big personality. That's what I'm trying to say. And from everyone that I heard, talk about her and stuff, they said she had a lovely personality and she was a lovely person. But in November 8th, 2020, Alexis visited Marfa, Texas, with several friends who later claimed that she was clearly afraid of someone and worried for her safety. She told her friend that she wanted to separate from Tom. Tom wrote her a text about her being too into social media, and he wasn't good enough for her. I think he was being controlling and acting insecure. He stated he would be packed up and gone before she came home from her trip. She shared her last Instagram post on November 22nd, 2020, documenting her travels to Tulum, Mexico. On November 25th, she spoke with her mother, and on the morning of November 26th, Thanksgiving, her and Tom shared breakfast together. But it seemed like on Thanksgiving, Alexis will text Tanya and, said, Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and seeing what everyone was doing for their Thanksgiving, and you could tell that Alexis was lonely, and she wanted to go hang out with some of her friends. She didn't want to be home alone, and at this time, nothing is said about where Tom is. I don't know where he was. I mean, why wouldn't she be home having Thanksgiving with her husband? It's weird, And all of her family didn't live in Texas. They lived way up in Pennsylvania. So she didn't really have any family members down there that she could go have Thanksgiving with. And I'm guessing something happened between her and Tom, maybe an argument, a fight, and she just wanted to get out of the house. So she went to hang out with Tanya and Desiree at Tanya's house Thursday evening. She arrived at Tanya's house around 5:07 p.m. Supposedly, Alexis left Tanya's house around 12:30 a.m. until 2:45 a.m., but her friends refused to tell cops who she left with. But it was said it was a guy named Sebastian. Alexis went home that Friday in the morning, but no one knew what time she went home. Because supposedly that night, Alexis brought some stuff over to Tanya's house Thursday night, and she left it in Tanya's house. I don't know if it's like stuff to get ready, whatever. And so it was like 2:45 in the morning, and she's knocking on Tanya's door and texting her like, hey, I need my stuff so I can go home. But she didn't. Tanya missed the text. She was sleeping. And she said, oh, I'll just get it tomorrow in the morning or whatever. And her car was gone. So she had to have go to her friend's house, picked up her car, and went back home. It was weird how her friends were being very vague. And this is why there was some suspicion towards her friends. I think it's because maybe Alexis was kind of like flirting or chatting with this Sebastian guy. Maybe they knew how jealous Tom was, and that's why they were trying to keep it kind of on the down low of who she went with that night on Thursday night. That's the only thing that I can come up with. Alexis alluded to Tanya through text she was sleeping on the couch at the place she lived with Tom. That was that next morning. She sent, they're kind of going back and forth, in the morning, talking to each other on Friday morning. And she alluded that she sleeps on the couch and she's been doing it for months. So I don't know if her and Tom were arguing or having marital problems, and that's why she was sleeping on the couch. But that was just weird. It seemed Alexis didn't want to be home with Tom. It wasn't confirmed if Tom spent Thanksgiving alone. Friday evening, it seemed Alexis was out of it, or it wasn't her texting. Her friend Tanya said that she was a little off in what she was texting to her. And Alexis was not posting the sales online for Black Friday or Monat. Now, if you're in retail, this is huge. It's like one of their biggest sales. Black Friday for every company. And usually Alexis is on there, talking to her subscribers and putting out videos and trying to push sales and telling everybody about the deals and stuff. But supposedly she didn't post anything on Friday. And that is weird, y'all. Everyone thought that it was strange. At 6:05 p.m. was the last text between Tanya and Alexis. The last person she texted was at 6:28 p.m. on Friday, a laughing emoji on a DM that was sent to Sebastian. In my opinion, I think she wasn't alive on Friday. Her text seemed strange and she wasn't posting about Monat. I think maybe when she got home after that morning, when she was talking to her friend Tanya, or even when she got home Thursday evening, maybe they had a really big fight and something happened and Tom snapped and killed her. I don't know. Let's keep going. I mean, that is just what I'm thinking. Because I don't think her friends had anything to do with this. That would be like a lot of people trying to cover up. Then I thought about, what about Sebastian? Maybe he had something to do with her disappearance because he was the last person to have seen her. But I'm sure cops, they crossed him off of the suspect list. So, Alexis was last seen alive on the evening of November 27th. Tom stated, she understood me. I understood her. We didn't fight when she left. I just told her she couldn't drive under the influence. She left anyhow. This is where we're at. Alexis's, who friends later said was usually inseparable from her phone, stopped responding to messages and calls. Tom stated that Alexis was drunk and wanted to drive to leave the house, and he wouldn't allow her to. So, he said she left the house on foot. Right. On November 28th, Tom told family members that she was missing. He thanked Instagram followers for their help in the investigation while condemning others who said negative things about Alexis's disappearance. Over the following days, he said that he was receiving death threats and other hateful messages. Her friends, the seven, as Tom called them, stated Alexis told them that Tom was abusive and she was scared for her life. She told them that he strangled her so hard that she passed out and woke up on the bathroom floor one time. Now, this was before all this happened. So, somewhere in the past, supposedly Tom strangled her so hard that she passed out on the bathroom floor. That has got to be effing scary. Effing scary. I would have done divorced his ass. I mean, supposedly she was really wanting to. So, Unfortunately, Alexis's new body was discovered around 8 a.m. on November 28th in bushes on the 1000 block of Red Hall Lane in the Houston Energy Corridor in Harris County. But she had no injuries to her body. 8 miles from her home. Her body was believed to have been left overnight, and police saw no evidence that she walked down the road, nor that had been any attempt to conceal her body. The next morning, Tom showed up to identify her body at the Harris County Medical Examiner's office without being prompted. So, supposedly he just heard on the news that they found a body, and he randomly went to the medicals without even being called. He heard on the news, so he went down there to go see if it was her. And to me, that I can understand being proactive or whatever, but to me, that is kind of a red flag. You know, he has issues. Usually people dread to get that information, and if it were me, I would not want to just jump to conclusions and run down there. I would be so scared that it was my loved one that I would wait till they called me down there to come verify. Like, I would want to hold off as long as possible without knowing, if that's what I'm trying to say. In an interview with ABC 13 Eyewitness News Houston, Tom said that his wife was not as happy as she presented herself on social media. But who is? Everyone on social media puts their highlights of their life. Almost everyone. But yeah, and that had been struggling emotionally since her disappearance. And that he had been struggling emotionally since her disappearance. That their marriage was happy. He said that he had been cooperating with detectives, but he ended the conversation by saying, I'm sorry, I'm not a jerk, I'm just destroyed. About 2 weeks after the murder, Tom left Texas. When he failed to make funeral arrangements for Alexis, the medical examiner changed her next of kin to her mother. The private funeral was held on December 19th. The service was kept secret from Tom. On January 19th, 2021, the Harris County Institute of Forensic Science medical examiner's report determined that Alexis' death was a homicide and she had been strangled. After many attempts by police to contact Tom agreed to meet detectives in early August of 2021 to submit a DNA sample, failed to do so. On September 29th, police obtained a warrant for his arrest, later stating that he was the only person who had the means, motive, and opportunity to kill Alexis. On October 5th, officials learned Tom was staying with his daughter and her partner in Fort Myers, Florida. On October 6th, at 1 a.m., Tom learned of the impending arrest. He ran upstairs and killed himself by shooting himself in the head. Authorities later said that Tom had been untruthful and evasive with investigators, and that there was a history of domestic violence between him and Alexis. So that's why they went to go pick up Tom. They felt they had enough kernels and evidence and little things that they knew it was him. And for a while there, I thought maybe it wasn't him. I'm going to be honest. Like, my gut was like, well, what if he just hurt himself because he was so devastated that they thought he did it when he didn't, and he just didn't want to live anymore. But the more and more I went through the case, the more and more evidence leaned towards him. There's just too many coincidences. You know, in all their videos and pictures, they just seem so happy and so loving, and they seemed like a very happy couple. But you really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And it breaks my heart that this had to be another domestic violence case. I was in a domestic violence relationship, physical and mental, and I got out. I was a lucky one. I had to hit rock bottom, though, before I decided to leave. And it was the best thing that I've ever done in my entire life. But with Alexis, it breaks my heart that this beautiful, vibrant young lady lost her life over someone that was egotistic, very insecure, and had controlling issues. You know, and I'm sure if it wasn't for her job, he wouldn't allow her to travel and stuff like that, you know, like actually be away. It seemed like he gave her heartache if she was, you know, on a trip by herself with her girlfriends. That's what it seemed like. And there are red flags all over this case. I hope we're giving Alexis some type of justice. And she's looking down upon the true crime community, saying, thank you for telling my story. And him, yes, it sucks. It sucks that his family had to lose him too. It really does. And it sucks that he's so selfish that he could not go ahead and face up to his consequences of what he did to his beautiful wife. The family thoughts. Alexis' mother, Stacy Robinot, said police had recently informed her of Tom's pending arrest. They then notified her of Tom's suicide. I am super sorry for Tom's family, said Stacy. It's just senseless loss that has happened with my daughter and him. I'm just sorry for all of that. It's been a horrific year. We expected he'd be brought back to Houston to finally face a judge. Stacy said his suicide surprised her grieving family. We definitely would give our condolences to Tom's family because they're so innocent in all of this. I'm sure they're very sad, especially for his daughter, for how that went down. I just really thought that it would end with a trial and that he would come in and make his case. He chose not to go that way, said Stacy. I will admit, we have felt that Tom was guilty of this from pretty much the beginning. Loss of life is never good. I do feel like in a way he did serve himself justice. In an interview with ABC 13, Stacy called Houston Police Department homicide investigators amazing professionals. She thanked them for their work on the case. Stacy said 10 months after her daughter's death, she still hasn't been able to retrieve Alexis's belongings, including clothing, family heirlooms, and her 3 cats, Asia, Jack, and Smokey. Alexis documented her pets with social media posts on Instagram. Stacy said she asked Tom for her daughter's items in the weeks after she was found dead. She said when he left Texas, she was told by an apartment manager that Tom's friends cleaned out the couple's West Houston apartment. It was heartbreaking when everything settled and it was time for us to get her belongings. The heirlooms that she had, they were our family's. Just to have a touch of her as an adult. Nothing. It's all gone. It was all taken from the apartment. We asked Tom for it many times. He would tell us, I'll get it to you. I'm going through it. Then he ghosted us. We have no idea where any of it is. We begged him for her cats because they were like her children. We just wanted to have something of hers. Stacy is asking anyone with knowledge on where the items and the animals went to reach out to her family. She'd love to have them back in her possession to remember her daughter. In a lengthy conversation with the ABC 13 Steve Campion, Stacy opened up about Tom's bizarre behaviors during and after Alexis's disappearance. We had red flags with beginning when she went missing on Friday, said Stacy. We never heard from Tom until Saturday evening. That was after her friends called the police and he was questioned. He knew we were going to hear about it. Then he called us. He never communicated with us until his feet were against the fire. They were ugly conversations. Not of, I'm sorry and I miss her so much, condolences, and what can we do? It was nothing like you would expect from someone that was desperate about the loss of his wife. Every conversation was how horrible she was and how wonderful he was. That this is her fault in a way. That was the thoughts of the family. My thoughts, he is a piece of shit. That's like a narcissistic thing to say. And you know what's funny? Is that it is proven that in a lot of, because I've seen so many different police investigations and interrogations, and when the person is guilty, they usually try to somehow blame it on the victim. It's like they deflect that they're the ones who did it, and they try to put it on the victim. And that's exactly what he said at the end. And who the hell would say that to a grieving mother? He's a piece of fucking work. You know he's down in hell, and we know that Alexis is in heaven. I'm very sorry for her family for your loss. Lose a bright light like that. And I'm going to tell everyone, if you are going through any type of narcissistic abuse or any type of domestic abuse, you will get to the point where you're done. But if it seems like it's been going on for years and years and years, you need to ask yourself, have they changed? No, because they never will. They always keep doing it over and over again and saying that they're sorry. It won't happen again. But it will. It will happen again. They're not going to change. They're not your project. You cannot fix them. You deserve so much more. I was in my late 20s when I had to restart my life all over again. And if I can do it, you can do it. Your family loves you more than you know. And it's to the point that you got to be done. And if you're staying because you have kids with the person, I'm sure the kids see it too. And they deserve better. And if you're scared that you have to restart over, restart over. Ask for help. Ask for your family or friends' help, and they will help you. If you're scared, talk to a lawyer. Talk to a domestic abuse shelter. They will help you get away. I know that a lot of people don't understand until you're in it, and it's way harder to leave than just up and leaving. But I'm hoping that even if I can say these things to some of you, maybe it might get through to one of you and start thinking about loving you and taking back your own life and getting away from the monster that lives with you. And even for the men out there, if you have an abusive girlfriend or wife, you can start over again too. And if she's threatening to take away the kids, if you leave or just whatever she's threatening you with, go to a lawyer, talk to someone. There are resources for you as well. It's not always women that get abused. It's anyone. It's kids. It's women. It's men. It's the elderly. I love y'all so much. And the reason I do this channel is because I want to try to make a difference and to remember the lives that were lost and to celebrate and tribute their life and to tell their story. And also to educate on red flags, what to do, what not to do, what to watch out for. My next video, I'm thinking about doing another decade of the hazing. It seemed that a lot of people like that. So my next video might be that. So look for that at the end of this month. I love y'all so much. Please like and subscribe and tell me what y'all think about this case. And please be respectful in the comments. Please stay safe.
As for Sharkey's husband, Tom, he says his marriage to Alexis was strong, and when she was stressed, he would comfort her. But now he says he's receiving death threats. As for her friends, they tell reporters their marriage was on the rocks. One of her friends say her boyfriend spoke with Sharkey's husband hours before her body was found.
11 p.m. is when my boyfriend, John, called Tom and said, "What's going on, Tom?" And he said, "You know, me and Lex got into an argument. She left. I don't know where she went. Can you just please let me know if you know anything?"
It's just it's so painful for someone so bright and having so much to offer just to be gone, snuffed out. And I don't know why.
Red dress princess, always gotta impress. Heels high, hair tied, just in case I come by. Don't stop, just flex, get a little upset. Attitude pretty cute, know that that's my favorite view.